Hello and welcome to another episode of the Indian LCHF show. I am Natchi Lazarus.
And I am Tina.
And we are so excited to talk about a topic that will help you get started with LCHF. It's my favorite topic because it is action oriented, and we'll also talk about some concepts so you'll understand. Last 2 weeks we've been discussing, just a quick recap, we've been talking about what is LCHF. We talked about some general reasons why you need to do LCHF. And then last week we went to the scientific reasons. You don't want to miss that. Very interesting reasons on why you need to be looking at LCHF and ketogenic lifestyle as something that could keep you healthy and help you live a longer life and reverse diabetes and lose weight and all those good things. But this week we are starting on the action. So if you are just looking to get started with LCHF, this is the week you need to focus on. But even if you're someone who has already started and maybe you're looking at some more tips, or maybe you missed something when you get started, you also will have something in this episode. So do listen to it. So let's get started, Tina. So what do we got today?
See, there are two ways how you can start. One is you go gradual. Two is you dive straight into it. First of all, the very, very first step is to gather knowledge. So I hope the first two episodes and the information on our website would help you. Because once you gather knowledge, then it gives you the push because you know why you're doing this.
We'll link to all of this in the description and show notes so you can easily go and listen to them.
Yeah. So once you get a knowledge of why you should do it, then it just becomes easier. You're more convinced rather than just thinking, okay, let me do this because I have to do it, or because somebody else told me, or because I've tried everything else and it doesn't work. Knowing why is very important. And the second thing is you should have a good resource list of what you can eat and what you should not eat. That list is available in our website. We'll also talk about it in the next episode. So you should have that information as well, because only when you're equipped with information and knowledge can you proceed successfully. So that's the very first step.
Yeah, most importantly, what to eat, which is the next week. So you might want to pay attention. Yeah.
So now that we've seen that, let's go into the two methods of how you can start. Number one, you go gradually. Number two, you just go all out and do it. You dive in. So let's go to number one, when you go gradually. The first step in this is you cut out all sugar. White sugar, brown sugar, demerara sugar, all kinds of sugars you cut out completely. Anything that raises your insulin, you cut it out. So, and in this, you have to make sure that you search and find out all the hidden forms of sugar and hidden sources of sugar. Now, there are many products which you will not even imagine would have sugar, but they have. For example, tomato sauce, many sauces, probably even marinara sauce, ketchup, mayonnaise, yogurt, sometimes even the unflavored ones, salad dressing, soups, ready-made soups, canned soup, soup powder, canned beans, many canned products, and many products will have sugar in them.
So when you say search out and find, what are you're saying, like look at the back of the content, or what are you saying?
Yeah, look at the label.
Okay.
And in the label, find out if sugar is there. And they're not obviously going to put the words SUGAR for you to know that it's sugar.
Exactly, yeah.
Manufacturers and commercial products have all types of names for sugar. One of the most common ones is HFCS, high fructose corn sugar, which is just the same as, it has the same effect as sugar. And there are various other names. There is a blog on our website by the name The Other Names of Sugar. Go and check it out. And better keep this list with you so that when you buy a product, you can match it and see if one of these names are there. And you cut out all forms of sugar, even the natural ones, even agave syrup and brown sugar and just all forms of sugar, just cut it out completely. The next step would be, you could do this for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 4 weeks, whichever is comfortable for you. The next step would be to cut out all refined carbohydrates, which means all sorts of flours. Uh, Flours which have been refined and bleached. Yeah?
Sorry. I have a question about the sugars. So, what if I have I just want to make my tea or coffee a little bit sweeter, or I just want to add a little bit of sweetness to something that I drink or eat. Is there any option at all, or should I just become like no sweet person?
No, there is an option, a couple actually, which are known not to induce an insulin response. The first one being stevia, and the next better one being erythritol. So these two have been suggested by experts that they don't have much or almost a nil. Stevia supposedly has a nil insulin response, so that could be used. But having said that, I would suggest keeping that to a very bare minimum.
Maybe in the starting, because we're talking about how to get started.
Yeah.
So in the starting you could do that, and then, but see, for example, I used to drink with sugar, then we started off with this stevia and all these replacements, and then now we are coming to a point where I actually like black coffee with the fresh cream and so on. So you sort of try to get your palate used to it, because the key is insulin response. Okay, if you listen to the last episode and the previous one, we talked about what insulin does, how it takes everything and stores that fat, and it doesn't help you access the fat. It tries to keep getting energy from the food that you give and so on. So, which is basically saying, in a short form, try to not trigger insulin inside your body as much as you can. You got to be very conscious about it. That's why I asked that question. Sorry, yeah, go ahead. I didn't want to derail you.
Yeah. So that's one thing when it comes to sugars and sweet substitutes. The second is you cut out all refined carbohydrates. So you avoid flour, you avoid wheat. Did I just say avoid? Avoid.
We and W. That's the Indian thing, and we can't get over it.
We switch over the pronunciations, and that's fine as long as you understand what we say.
This is Indian LCHF. So if you're not used to it, get used to it.
Yeah. So you avoid flours, all kinds of flours, and in fact, even whole grain flours. So and whole grains. So you avoid rice, you avoid wheat, and you avoid all kinds of millets and anything related to that.
Okay, so chapati, roti, dal stuff.
I think we're getting ahead of the explanation, because that would come in the next episode on what to eat. So yeah. So you avoid.
Just you get the idea. We'll talk about it in detail.
You avoid carbohydrates, both refined and simple carbohydrates. So both complex and simple carbohydrates.
This is just getting started. So we're going to look at everything in a high level, and then
So you cut off all forms of starch. That is the second step. The third step is you avoid even fruits, sugary fruits. So some fruits, for example, watermelons or apples or oranges or many other stuff, you can go and Google it, have a high sugar content. Therefore, the insulin response would be high. There is something called the insulin index. You could Google that and see what is the insulin response for certain fruits, and avoid those which are high in sugar and which would create an insulin response. So step number 1 is cutting down sugars. Step number 2 is cutting down both simple and refined carbohydrates, both complex and simple carbohydrates. Step number 3 is avoiding even fruits and vegetables that are high in carbohydrates and that would exact a high insulin response. For example, even a starchy vegetable like potato has to be avoided.
So is there like a Wikipedia or something like that gives you a list of these fruits, or can we link in the show notes?
No, the list to a certain extent will come in our next episode. also link to the blog about what foods to eat. But when you have a doubt, you can just go and find out the nutrition for a particular fruit or vegetable. So you just put the nutrition index, and
Google it.
Google will just
We just have to say nutrition index or insulin index.
give me a break. I'll just
We can find it.
give me a minute. I'll just find out what.
So, because many times we think it's, for example, I love bananas, right? So, my excuse for eating bananas would be it's good for getting me potassium, and it keeps my gut happy and so on. But if it's going to secrete a lot of insulin, if it's going to create a lot of insulin in my body, and therefore continue to make me fatter, or give me other problems because of that, because of sugar imbalance and so on, then I don't want to be, I want to be conscious of not doing so much of it, but at least it's the knowledge. So one of the things in getting started, this is just my, layman perspective, is knowledge. See, like Tina is able to talk in this, even though we are not medical professionals, because of the amount of reading and research she's done. Of course, not all of us will have the time to do that kind of research, but I think we should get into a habit of doing minimal research, like all the time. So, for example, I never looked at the content of the food. I just looked at the food and I bought it. But now I'm starting to do that. So it's a cultural mindset change that you bring in into your head, saying, okay, let me look at what content is there. At least the two big things that we're talking about here, sugar and carbohydrate, right? Anything. So you just overview of that. At least if you're eating something, then you are eating something. I mean, it's like I am giving in, and I know I ate so much of carb today, and let me keep a check on that kind of a thing. And also this insulin index and sugar, how much each generates. Then you start, your mind, the more you read about it, understand, your mind starts telling you. For example, apples. If you love apples and you keep eating apples and you see the insulin index of apples is very high, then slowly you're starting to say, I may not want apple. And you go to the store, you start making the right choices. Then you look at the apple and say, insulin index high, let me see if there is another alternative to it, or something that tastes similar that I can go for. So just my thought. So get into that habit.
Yeah. Going on what you said, insulin index is not available so easily. Only some resources have it. But carbohydrates is available, and the term which I was searching for now is nutrition data. So if you want, you just say nutrition data for a banana, nutrition data for an apple, nutrition data for millets. And
what does that give?
It gives you the nutrition data.
Sugar things.
It gives you protein, carbohydrates, the total energy, fiber, all of that.
Okay.
And any other whatever is present in that.
And let us know if you find a better way of finding it, and we can share it with everybody.
So that's
leave a comment or something.
That's step 3, and then step 4 is just you're on low carb, high fat foods, and based on the list, and you're in it. So this is the go gradual method. I would not highly recommend it for myself and for many others like me, for the simple reason is, when you're doing it step by step, you don't see results that fast. It's going to take you time, and therefore it could be discouraging, number 1. Number 2, it could help you fall into temptation easier, because first of all, you're going to have to do it over a long period of time, and people will be like, just this once eat this, just for this party alone have this, just this one day. And so when you're going gradually, if you keep breaking like this, you're not going to see any results, and then you'll be like, I tried cutting sugar, but it doesn't work. I tried this, but it doesn't work. When you actually
LCHF doesn't work.
But when you actually haven't tried properly. So unless you have willpower and you are very firm in your decisions, and you can say no to yourself and to others, then I wouldn't suggest this methodology.
You mean the gradual?
The gradual one. For most people, the dive straight in works out. On an important note, if you're on medication, consult with whether you're going gradually or whether you're diving straight in, consult with an LCHF informed doctor who accepts the ideology of LCHF and knows that it is the way forward. then such a doctor will be able to wean you off your medications step by step. So whether you go gradually or you dive straight in, please be in consultation with an LCHF informed doctor.
Medical professional. See, that's like a thing that you have to take for all our podcasts and stuff that we're discussing here, because each of us are different. Some of us are on medication, some of us are age-wise and all that kind of stuff. So if there is a condition, then we highly recommend you don't do something that might be damaging to your system. So do consult a medical professional. All this is considering that part is taken care of. We're just giving you knowledge on how to go about doing LCHF lifestyle. Yeah.
So the second method is to dive straight in. Like the, what's it called? The marketing mantra that says, just do it.
Just do it. Nike. Just do it.
Okay. So just do it.
By the way, we are not advertising Nike. We are not associated with Nike.
We don't use their shoes or anything. Anyway, so when you're starting it, like I said, have knowledge, equip yourself with knowledge, have a list ready of the foods that you can eat and that you cannot eat. Clear your pantry, clear your fridge, clear your shelves. Just throw everything out. Stock it up new.
Don't give it to anybody.
Unless you hate them and they are your enemy. So clear out everything. Get in groceries and other staple stuff, that are only the stuff that is LCHF friendly. Stock up your refrigerator, stock up your pantry.
I think that's a great point and tip, at least for somebody like me who likes to go and open the fridge and see what's there to eat. I think it's important to stock up the right thing and then remove all the other stuff. And don't think that before you start you can finish everything in the fridge and then start. That's probably not going to happen.
So yeah, and then just have LCHF foods. Do not forget, fat is your friend. Have good fat and have good proteins. Let the source of your carbohydrate intake be only vegetables and certain permitted fruits. Now this is a very good method because it will move your body from being a carb fueled engine to a fat fueled engine. Your body will move very fast from being carb fueled to fat fueled when you dive straight in. So that makes the process easier. That makes your weight loss and your other numbers that you need to reduce will reduce faster, and you will hit your achievement numbers quicker. Now most experts and most proponents of LCHF and ketogenic diet suggest a 100-day strict LCHF. Now that depends. If you can if you hit your plateau sooner, then you can go to the next step of diving straight in, which is fasting sooner. But if you want to do it for 100 days, then go ahead and do it for 100 days. No, so that your system, your body, and more importantly, your environment, your folks, your household, your people get used to this. Now that is the most difficult part, getting folks around you used to this. So if that's going to take 100 days, then do it strictly for 100 days. And if you hit your plateau before that, then start fasting. I will talk about fasting in the coming episodes, but if you want more information, you could go to the video that says LCHF Journey Roadmap, and you will know what are the next steps once you dive straight in. One of the most important thing about diving straight in and doing LCHF
almost out of time.
Is a mindset change. You have, after years and years of being brainwashed that fat is bad, you have to now constantly remind yourself that fat is good. Fat is your friend. Good fat is essential for your body. It is not just good, it is essential. It is a necessary requirement for the body. Cholesterol is essential. The body is capable of manufacturing cholesterol on its own if you don't give it in the form of food. That is how essential cholesterol is. Do check out the video, Lies About Fat and Cholesterol, in our Indian LCHF YouTube channel, you will get to know a lot about the facts about cholesterol. So do remember, fat is your friend. Do not forget to add good fats. We'll see what are the good fats in the next episode. Do not forget to add good fats in your food. Up your fat intake. Have moderate amounts of protein and lower your carbohydrate intake. Dr. Atkins, who is one of the pioneers of the LCHF lifestyle, suggests 20 grams of carbohydrate. You could follow that, but if you can't keep a count, it's okay. But make sure that your carbohydrate intake is not what you read from the labels of products, but it is from the vegetables that you are consuming. Don't say, okay, I'm going to have 20 grams, so let me have a cube of highly sugared chocolate or a candy, saying, okay, this candy has 20 grams, so let me have this candy. Don't let that be your source at all. So that is one.
No bananas.
And second thing is, don't let the clock dictate your meal times. Let your body dictate your meal times. When you're hungry, eat. Usually we have only 2 meals a day. You will see that in the journey roadmap video. And importantly, read the labels, read between the lines. Number 4, equip yourself with knowledge. This is very important when you dive straight in.
This is, to me, the most important thing when you start. Equip yourself with knowledge. I highly recommend you follow us on all the channels, not because we are looking to grow our followers, which will be great, but that's not the point. The point is we have so much resources. Tina has put a lot of videos like this, and we've got written material. So follow us, and we are not the only people. There's a lot of good resources out there who you can follow, and we've got them listed as well, right? We've got resources
I was just
listed.
going to say that we have a resource page
Section,
in our section in our website
follow other people as
with
well,
many resources who've been experts.
Fantastic.
And who have in-depth knowledge. So kindly check out our resources section. I've given links to videos, to books, to other websites. Go check out their websites. And I highly recommend that you follow many LCHF experts and proponents and gather knowledge and information.
Knowledge is key,
And another thing is, stop calorie counting. If you must count carbs. Stop calorie counting. So to recap, you want to do the recap?
Yeah, the recap is stop eating bananas and pizzas. Basically, I think it's your mindset, and then you stop sugar. You stop 2 ways, right? We said go gradual or go dive deep in. So gradual is you stop sugar, carbohydrates, reduce all of that, and as much of insulin goes down as possible. And then if you want to, but not recommend the gradual process, but we go dive deep.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and you can look at the show notes because I didn't recap properly. So you can look at the show notes for all the points, and we got all the links and everything. So subscribe if you're not subscribed, just listening to us wherever you're listening to this. Subscribe so that you get all our updates. We're coming up with lots of videos like this that are useful, about 15-20 minutes. Today we went a little longer, but usually that's the time, and you will get a lot of information from each of our episodes. So thank you so much. God bless you. We'll see you next week with another item. And next week is super important. We're going to talk about what to eat. We're going into the eating things and actual stuff. We're going to discuss that. So we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Take care.
Goodbye. Stay healthy.
Stay safe.